Oh, it is the plays of the week. Off we go. Quickly. Let's go. There's no time. We need to get to the plays of the week. We got to get them out. We'll just start with streaming quarterback Mac Jones, 48.5 point total. This is a road game. This is a game we are targeting. This is a game that could really shoot out. We could look up. We're looking for that 38-35 game. And it's so rare that you see a game, whether it's the Giants or it's the Jets. Whenever we have a game in the Meadowlands, the point total is always low. Go back through time. Go back the last 10 years. Games in the Meadowlands. Right? What are you going to see? You're going to see a ton of low totals. That's all you end up seeing. Okay, MetLife Stadium, right? The Meadowlands. It's the worst turf in the league, and it's where the fantasy points go to die. Except this week. Not this week. This week, we're all in on this game. This is your 38-35 game. Now, as I say that, watch it be 10-7. But I just think this is the game. These are bad teams. Well, technically, the 49ers are 5-3. I don't know how that's possible. That's like a riddle. How is that even possible? I mean, after all these injuries, to be 5-3, start to get healthy for the second half. We'll talk about Juwan Jennings later, but I think this combo of Mac Jones to Juwan Jennings is going to be dynamite today. This is the time to start getting on board with Juwan Jennings. This is the time to start getting on board with this 49ers offense. But more than anything else, this is the time to start getting on board with the Giants offense. I can't believe it. Today's the day. Like I said, today is the day where we look up, we're like, we're all in on a Giants home game. This never happens. This just never happens. Maybe going back in my history in this business, 10 plus years doing this, I can't remember. I'm sure there was a time when I was like, oh, that's going to be a shootout. All the Daniel Jones years and the Aaron Rodgers years in New York, all these years, all these eras, they're all bad. This game, though, this is the game. This is the game where it can all work out. We get our 38-35. That means Mac Jones is streamable. If you need quarterback help this week, Mac Jones is likely available, and I give you permission to play him. In terms of who to stash, so in Superflex, all the starting quarterbacks are rostered. Always and forever in Superflex. But every week, there tends to be someone come available on the waiver wire. This week, maybe it was Tyler Shuck. Who knows? Right? Every week, it's someone different. Some quarterback is going to get injured or benched, and then it's going to be Tyler Huntley, or it's going to be Tyler Shuck, or it's going to be Tyler Schmuff, or Tyler blah. Who cares, right? This week, it's Kenny Pickett, because you got to run the thought experiment. Okay, what if the Raiders struggle in the first quarter? Not the first half, not the game. First quarter. They are ready to get out that vaudevillian cane on Geno Smith. I know that the coaches have already been thinking about packages for Kenny Pickett. This is something that's going to happen eventually, like a permanent move to install Pickett as the starting quarterback. Very likely this week, because there are high expectations this week. You know, the Raiders, they could win this game. They're only 2.5 point dogs. Very winnable game. So if they get down 10-0, look out. It's going to be Kenny Pickett for the rest of the season. So just file that away for Superflex purposes. Superflex purposes only. This is Superflex purposes only. Not single quarterback. God, no. Oh, my God. So let's talk about a position that actually moves the needle. I can't believe quarterback doesn't move the needle in fantasy. That's a whole other conversation. But Ashton Jeanty. Speaking of this game, Ashton Jeanty is at home. This is a game where the Raiders could very easily be facing positive game script. Like, yeah, sure, you're stashing Kenny Pickett in Superflex leagues because it's high likelihood that Geno Smith struggles, as he struggles most of the time. But it's also possible that they lean on the run, they lean on Ashton Jeanty, they keep the game close, and that Geno Smith survives this game. And if Geno Smith survives this game, it's going to be on the back of Ashton Jeanty. Now, I know that Jacksonville doesn't give up many fantasy points to opposing running backs on the ground, but that's a function of the game scripts and just the situations. We had Kareem Hunt had a big game against Jacksonville earlier this year, so they've given up big-time fantasy points to bad running backs. So I'm not considering Jacksonville super stout against the run. That's just not who they are. And Ashton Jeanty is a generational, super dynamic, all-purpose back, I thought. So if you're not going to play him aggressively this week, you shouldn't have him in Dynasty. He needs to be on the block. If you're not playing him aggressively in DFS this week, put him on the block. Like if you have Ashton Jeanty in Dynasty, but you're just not sure if you're ready to start playing him aggressively in daily fantasy, then you don't believe in Ashton Jeanty. This player's not for you. Get rid of him. I'm not. I'm playing him. I'm playing him aggressively. In the Quick 6 Super Slam on Fast Draft, Quick 6 Super Slam, you just pick any 6 guys, you put them in a couple booster spots we have for you, the 2x booster, the 1.5x booster, and you ship it. Is Ashton Jeanty booster worthy? Maybe not. But is he Super Slam worthy? Absolutely. And his ownership, you can see the ownership is posted right there on the player list when you go to submit your Super Slam lineup, and the ownership on Jeanty is below where I thought it would be. He is absolutely Super Slam worthy, and in all DFS contests across the board this week, you should be overexposed to Ashton Jeanty. So with every position, we like to start with a couple guys that are widely owned, that most people are expecting some production from, but we just happen to be very bullish on these players in this particular week. And then we'll start to talk mostly about the fringier players, the players you could pick up off the waiver wire, the players that are min salary in DFS, but we believe that there is an opportunity for them to not only get there, but to potentially have a spike week based on the circumstance and their particular talent profile on playerprofiler.com. A running back who's in a great situation this week is Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren's not the first Steeler we're going to talk about, but the Steelers are hosting the Colts. It's teed up to be one of these rare shootouts in what is this stadium? We're doing stadium trivia. I didn't know we were doing stadium trivia, but we're doing stadium trivia today. It's a Acrisure. Is it a Acrisure? Acrisure, a Acrisure Stadium. All I know is it's not Heinz Field, and it's an embarrassment. It's a Acrisure, whatever. Usually, whether it's MetLife or a Acrisure, there's not a lot of points scored in these stadiums until this week. This is the week to bust out all your Steelers, right? If not this week, then when is what I would ask you, right? So Steelers at home against the Colts. We're playing Jaylen Warren. It's a smash spot for him because mostly it's a home game and the total is 50.5. Wow. Love NFL's doing great. Love seeing all these big point totals. As the season goes along, a lot of defensive injuries, and this is what happens. The point totals start ticking up and up and up and up. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is a true bell cow, and this is projected to be a top offense when Jaden Daniels is under center, so I don't know what I'm missing with JCM this week. He is someone you should be aggressively pursuing in, let's say, the Flex 6 Frenzy. That's the big draft DFS contest on Fast Draft where there's 8 teams and you draft 6 guys. JCM is absolutely booster worthy in the Flex 6 Frenzy, and he's someone that I think should be aggressively pursued in that particular tournament. Is JCM Super Slam worthy? Not crazy, but certainly not at like a Jeanty level or even a Jaylen Warren level. I like JCM this week. JCM, ironically, will benefit from the Alfred Morris corollary more than any other running back has benefited in Washington since Alfred Morris. Look out for it. Get ready. And Tyrone Tracy this week. Tyrone Tracy, he's kind of awesome, isn't he? Isn't he? Isn't he kind of awesome? Looks like a Tyrone Tracy on Player Profiler. We're talking about 80th percentile across the board in speed, burst, agility. He's super athletic. He has size. He's not the bulldog runner that Cam Scadaboo is, but so what? So what? He's actually more dynamic. I prefer Tyrone Tracy as a talent over Cam Scadaboo. I know I'm very much in the minority here, and that's okay. If I were running a team, Tyrone Tracy would be a featured running back. I love running backs that look like Tyrone Tracy, and this is a week. This is a week to play him. If you're not going to play Tyrone Tracy this week, you're not playing him, but he should be aggressively played in DFS. That is the point. JCM, Tracy, Warren, Genty, aggressively play these guys in DFS. Look at JCM. JCM, like Tracy, big time explosiveness. Big time. These guys are similar players. Basically, JCM is the Tyrone Tracy of 2025. So, play him. Then we have some fringe options. So hear me out here. Brashard Smith, right? Brashard Smith, he was a prolific runner of the football at SMU before he was a 7th round pick. I don't know why he was a 7th round pick. I think that was too late for him. This guy's a dynamic receiver, also a prolific runner, has a wide receiver background. Pacheco is out for multiple weeks. The Chiefs know they need to inject dynamism into their backfield. You're going to see the touches ratchet up just due to the law of the conservation of touches on an NFL team. Brashard Smith's going to get, but he is not just a pass catcher. This is not a one-dimensional satellite back in any way. I want to be very clear about that. They just think that's 1,300 plus rushing yards and 18 touchdowns with 39 catches at SMU last year. Brashard Smith was awesome. The fact that he fell to the 7th round was a crime. And it's just making that Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick look even worse and worse every year. It's like, you see what you can get in the 7th round at running back? JCM, Brashard Smith. So I think Brashard Smith is playable. If you have a lot of buys, if you have injuries, Brashard Smith is playable. He's a fringe option. I don't think he's someone anyone's be playing like in the Flex 6 Frenzy game. But in these salary cap DFS games, big field tournaments, I can absolutely see people playing Brashard Smith and hoping that he maybe breaks it for a long run for a touchdown. There's a lot of, spike week outcome possibilities with Brashard Smith. Less so with Jaden Blue, but Jaden Blue is a similar scenario where he is the guy behind the guy. And he fell in the draft because teams loved the talent and they hated the player. Like that happens sometimes. Like Jaden Blue is not ready 100% to be an NFL professional, or he wasn't at age 21. He was missing meetings. He was missing interviews. He was not showing a lot of NFL teams love. He did show the Cowboys the love. And what happened? He got drafted by the Cowboys. Shocking. Shocking twist. In a truly shocking twist, Jaden Blue gets drafted by the Cowboys because that's where he wanted to play. And now, suddenly, he's showing more maturity than he was during the pre-draft process. Again, shockingly. Like, you could argue he's a genius that he pulled this off, right? But he's very similar to Brashard Smith. He's actually got a little more size. Very exciting player. This is the big point total of the week. I mean, what are we talking about with the Cowboys? On Monday night, the total is 53.5. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So it's Monday night. No fast draft DFS contest Monday night, but he is a fringe option, desperation, deep leagues. Jaden Blue absolutely should be in play. Look out for that. Now, at wide receiver, who do we got? So we'll start, again, we mentioned him earlier, Juwan Jennings. He is like a frontline option that I think needs to be played aggressively. He is healed up from a lot of these nagging injuries. He's feeling a lot better. This is from him. And so he is ready to go to be the alpha for Mac Jones this week. Again, we're leaning into this. I still can't believe we're leaning into this game, a Giants game, but the emergence of Jackson Dart, the competence of Mac Jones, the degradation of these two defenses makes it logical that this would be a source of value in fantasy this week. 49ers at the Giants. And for that reason, I love Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. Fire up Wan'Dale and Juwan Jennings. I mean, that is a great little mini stack. Even if you're not playing Dart and you're not playing Mac Jones, you can do a little mini stack in your DFS lineups to get Wan'Dale and Juwan Jennings, or even super fringe Juwan Jennings and Darius Slayton. These are your starting wide receivers in what we're projecting to be a huge shootout, or I'm at least hoping, a little hopium there, it's a huge shootout. It's going to be a shootout according to Vegas. I'm hoping it's going to be a massive shootout. Darius Slayton is very playable in these salary cap DFS contests, as is Rashid Shaheed. See, the Saints are 14-point dogs, and this is one of the best bets of the year, to just take the points. Bet on New Orleans. And the thesis is simple. If Tyler Shuck is simply competent, they're going to likely cover. Now, there's a chance he's not competent and they get blown out by 21 points and doesn't, then fine. That's a possibility. This isn't like a 100% lock. But when you just run the thought experiment, okay, what if Shuck is actually good? Well, then it's easy. What if he's okay? Fine. What if he's merely competent and not the most embarrassing quarterback in the league this week? Fine. If any of those outcomes happen with Tyler Shuck, then it's most likely going to be the Saints covering. And not only Chris Olave, but a player like Rashid Shaheed, a player like Juwan Johnson are players that you're going to want to have in this week. Now, Juwan Johnson is already being widely streamed and rostered. I don't think he's available in many leagues, but he is certainly a very strong DFS option as well. But the guy I like at value, the guy that you could argue is I wouldn't say he's draftable in the Flex 6 frenzy, but it's not the craziest idea. Would be Rashid Shaheed. Now, Calvin Austin, I believe, is even more startable in the Flex 6 frenzy. Like, let's say draft him in like round 6. He's my fringe pick of the week. Because when we look at, we'll just pull him up. Let's pull up Calvin Austin here. Calvin Austin's a fun player. He has incredible speed, runs a 4.32. Remember, he broke the combine. And the Colts give up a lot of fantasy points to opposing receivers, especially fast outside receivers. They really struggle against players of this archetype, comparable to Marquise Brown. This is a rare Steelers shootout game, which is, again, this is just, it's hard for me to really fully appreciate that the Steelers are going to have a shootout. They're going to propel like a 50-plus point total. Really? Steelers at home? Yeah. Get ready for it. Get ready, everybody. And Calvin Austin. Because I believe that if you're the Colts and you know you have a problem, you have a opposing passing game problem. We are the Colts, and we know that. What are we going to do? We're going to make sure we take away DK Metcalf. That is what the defensive coordinator is going to be thinking all week. And what does that mean for Calvin Austin? Hoo-ah! We have a lot of options this week. There's a lot of options. Sadly, pour one out for Travis Hunter. What does that mean? That means Parker Washington is interesting. Now, I don't know what his athleticism is. Nobody does. He didn't really test. He had an injury during the pre-draft process, way back in 2023. But this is another great option where we have, I know this is not going to be a shootout. 44.5 point total, but the Raiders are exploitable by opposing quarterbacks. No Travis Hunter, no Brenton Strange. That means targets are going to consolidate around a guy like Parker Washington. That's just what's going to happen. Is he an impressive physical specimen? No. Does that matter in one of these situations where it's a soft secondary and there's a lot of open opportunity for backup receivers to come in and command some targets? This is the perfect scenario where you can get Parker Washington at, what is he, 3,700 on DraftKings, 5,300 on FanDuel. Come on now. Like, he's a great lineup maker for DFS. There's a bunch of these guys this week. I got a ton. Parker Washington's a great target conservation play, as is Olamide Zaccheaus. Last time I checked, Luther Burden's not going to play. Last time I checked, Rome Odunze and DJ Moore banged up. The healthiest receiver who's going to command targets this week is Olamide Zaccheaus, playing Cincinnati in another one of these 50-plus point total games. Is he physically impressive? No. Does that matter? No. He's going to command a bunch of targets, go over 10 fantasy points. You need a plug-and-play option in your flex in a deep league. Zaccheaus is your guy. You need a guy just to make a lineup, 3,300 on DraftKings. Olamide Zaccheaus is your guy. It's hard to find a better value. Just getting targets at value, tough to get better. Tough to find a better option than Olamide Zaccheaus. You can say Trey Tucker, right? Trey Tucker, that's the other game that we like. Right, another game we like. But again, the point total in Vegas is not up around 50 like a lot of these other games. This game in Pittsburgh, we're talking about a 50-point total. This game in New York, we're talking about a 48.5 point total. This is where your focus is. Okay? I still can't believe the Steelers are 50.5. I just can't. Steelers, Colts, what? I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. I do think that it's very possible that this Jaguars-Raiders game does go over. Feels like it could go over. Absolutely. So for that reason, I like Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker has dynamism. He runs the 4.40, but he's more Mecole Hardman than Marquise Brown. That's why I prefer Calvin Austin. But just based on the matchup, based on the fact that he is the healthiest receiver on the Raiders. And it's going to be very possible they're playing from behind, especially if Geno Smith struggles early. Then they're going to have to air it out in the second half. I know it might be Pickett. These are some of the reasons why I don't have Trey Tucker as high, right? You want to know why? Why do we talk about Zaccheaus in Washington and Calvin Austin before Trey Tucker? I just laid it all out. You have a potential second half. Kenny Pickett, not great. You have the game total, not as high as you would think it would be. Not great. But he does have the wheels, and big plays are very possible for Trey Tucker this week against Jacksonville in particular. It's a soft matchup for him. Then there's the Titans. And we need to talk about the Titans because we have a big-time special going on at Fast Draft. If you play any Titan in the Super Slam game, so it's a high bar, man. I mean, playing a Titan in the Super Slam, if you do it, you can. It's terrifying. It's a nightmare. And that's why we're doing it Halloween week. If you play any Titan in the Super Slam, you're going to get a free entry out of it. So you'll get a $10 bonus after lineup lock. It's a fun Halloween contest. So you get a free shot, free Super Slam. If you put in any Titan, any Titan will do, right? Could be Chimere Dike. It could be Alec Eominor. It doesn't matter who it is. Put someone in there, and then you'll get a $10 promo bonus to play in yet another Super Slam next week because you invested in the Titans this week. And that's just it's terrifying. I tried to think of the most terrifying thing you can do in fantasy on Fast Draft, and I came up with it. I was like, I know what it is. It's playing a Titan. So that's what we're doing. We're rewarding you for playing a Titan. At tight end, we're going right back to these games we've talked about. Theo Johnson. What is Theo Johnson? He's a mega athlete. I love mega athletes like Theo Johnson, and he's big. Like, he's 260 pounds. The other receivers in that passing game are not that impressive, but we're playing them anyway because points, because fantasy, and Theo Johnson's right there. The only thing about Theo Johnson that's different than, say, a Darius Slayton is that Theo Johnson's actually exciting. Theo Johnson actually has a little more upside at the position than even like a Darius Slayton does. There are a couple other options, though. Every week in recent memory, at least since Joe Flacco was named the starter in Cincinnati, we're playing Noah Fant. Noah Fant. Every week he's the guy we're streaming because people are picking up Theo Johnson. They're picking up Jawan Johnson. They're picking up the Johnsons, right? It's like I can't decide on which Johnson to stream, so I don't pick up either, and then I'm stuck with Noah Fant. But Noah Fant, what does he do? He puts up a nice high catch rate. He's super efficient. He's now on a team that's throwing a lot, and he's very much in the mix every week. Noah Fant. And this week, the Bengals are at home facing the Bears. A lot of you, I think, you're just rolling with Fant every week at this point. Even though he's not giving you spike weeks, all the signals are there that, hey, there's a spike week coming. Noah Fant also has Theo Johnson level athleticism. Now, the final tight end play is fringy, but fun. It's fringy, but fun, because what do we talk about more than anything else? We talk about the law of the conservation of targets. 2 key receivers for the Jacksonville Jaguars are out this week. That is Brenton Strange and that is Travis Hunter. And you could say, oh, that means Brian Thomas Jr. is going to get 70% target share. No, he's not. That's not Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas will cap out in his career at a 25% target share. He's a 20 to 25% target share receiver. That is what he is. He is not a high-volume target earner. That's not his profile. He's a big, stretch-the-field, big play alpha. That's great. That's DK Metcalf. That's not someone who's going to blot out the sun with targets. So where are the targets going to go? Well, we talked about they're going to go to Parker Washington. They're also going to go to this fella named Hunter Long. I mean, this is the boring of the boring. But he's not like Will Dissly. He's even more athletic than Cade Otton. I think that Hunter Long is more exciting than Cade Otton, more exciting than Will Dissly, more exciting than A.J. Barner. Hunter Long is interesting. Hunter Long put up some big numbers, 21.8% college dominator at BC. He's been kicking around the league, but he was a third-round pick once upon a time, and now he's poised to come in and be the featured option to kind of be Hunter Henry. So we like our hunters, our underrated hunters. Why not Hunter Long at tight end? So in deep leagues, you want a fringe option. You want to go down to like 2,800 on DraftKings. His projected ownership is 1.2%. So people are already on him in DFS. So that is a thing that is happening. And wow, right? I who would have thought? Raiders, Steelers, Jaguars, Giants. Oh boy.